Hey guys, what's up? We are back. Let me see if I'm good. I'm good. Let me okay guys, we are back again for another one here on this year Mystelics channel. And guys, we got an interesting vibes taking place. Of course, we have an individual who wants to definitely let you guys know his story. And of course, I'm gonna be reacting to that as well. Guys. And of course, it's very interesting what he has to say, especially considering he is also from Portsmouth, and the thoughts that he has is definitely something, of course, facing a certain challenge for which he was also incarcerated, guys. And I know him as an individual, young man growing up, going to school, classmate, being in the same school and everything. And he has his story to tell, man, because one of the things that I definitely wanted to do was to find out what exactly his story was. And of course, I'm gonna be reacting to it. I actually saw this video already, guys, but I'm just gonna be reacting to it, and I want your input as well on what he has to say. No, guys, keep in tune on what he has to say. Okay, guys, remember, guys, it's not excusing any action for why he was incarcerated, but understanding what he has to say is the key issue here, guys. So we gotta take a listen to what he has to say right there. And then he actually stated that he actually saw my video when I was talking about the hospital and the neglect and everything. So he's pretty much gonna be saying some stuff right there, guys, and we're gonna get into this right there. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification on this here channel, guys. Of course, we're gonna be bringing you more vibes like this, so definitely, guys, subscribe and turn on the post notification as well. Let's get it.
Hotep to the multiverse.
Okay.
Hotep to those in international diaspora, those in the region, and Dominica. For those who did team up with Pastor BJ and go on radio pleading for government to bring back hanging, my name is David Seja. Most will know me for Smokey, some by my music name Smokey Dread, which will change. I'm here to address the negligence that's taking place in the medical sector and judicial system.
No, before he continues, guys, two other problems that I have when it comes down to the judicial system and the medical system is that they are definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, they are very interesting. For lack of a better word, they are very interesting parts of society for which a number of persons tend to pay the price as a result of both the medical field and that of the judicial system as well. So when he's talking about these guys, this is not just him saying these things. I actually have friends and family involved in the whole thing that got both the short end of the stick when it comes down to both of these individuals. And one, well, let's just continue right there.
Dominica. And yes, I was a victim because of negligence.
Why were you a victim of negligence?
I am not saying none of this to justify my actions in the past. I was a person involved in the Indian River stabbing that took place on Monday, the 20th of September 2010.
By the way, before he continues, guys, I also did an aerial shot of the Indian River that he speaks about, and he's pretty much talking about the incident involving the bridge. If you see me flying over the bridge itself was where the incident took place with him and an individual.
The deceased received 2 stabs. Yes, you're shocked to hear it. But wait, that is just a tip of the iceberg. The deceased received 2 stabs. One here, from here to here.
This is what he's talking about, is the muscle area. In between there's literally, well, there's veins there, but there's not life-threatening veins.
And one here, from here to here.
Okay, now what he's talking about right there, guys, if you know anything about the pulse goes all the way down here. Sometimes if you knock your elbow there, you feel a shock, and it goes all the way back and connects directly to the heart. Now, he's talking about this one right there. This one is where the brachial artery is. The brachial artery is around right there. And he mentioned that the stab wound was there, resulting, of course, if that artery is cut, then of course blood. There's a lot of, and you can pretty much bleed out. Now, before you get through, let's just take everything in context for what he's saying right there.
And he died.
Okay. The question is, why did he die? That is where the neglect part comes in, guys. No, his actions for doing this is not justified whatsoever. Nobody, keep in mind, guys, nobody should be stabbing nobody. Of course, based off the story that I heard of what happened then, I heard that the guy who passed away was taunting him or troubling him or something like that. So just because somebody is doing that to you, you should not do this. But also, people should not be troubling or taunting individuals as well. So I just had to get that out of the way.
Yes, he died because of negligence. When he arrived at the PMH, he stated his medical history to the nurses and doctors.
So he was alive when he reached PMH, the hospital. He was alive, he was okay, so he was alive.
He had 13 to 15 fatal illnesses, plus he had full-bloom AIDS for 7 years.
I heard that. I know the individual they're talking about. I heard that he had it, but I did not know if that was actually the case. But according to the reports given, they stated that he actually had this. So,
not it.
By the way, this is not the negligence part. This is just the report given from, you know, the hospital and so forth and so forth.
The disclosure of the case stated that when he reached in the hospital, he actually stayed 2 hours and 7 minutes before he died.
So he arrived at the hospital. No, the reason why he ended up at the hospital was because of the wounds that he got. Yes, good. But when it comes down to the hospital now, and guys, this hits me very close. You know why? Because I have friends who also went to the hospital before the China Friendship Hospital and this kind of things. Even though we heard of another story of an individual who went in for a hand operation and he ended up not passing that time to come back. Well, not passing the time, but he did not make it alive out of there. He went in for a hand operation, he did not make it. Now the individual stated, this guy stated, that the individual was in the hospital for 2 hours and 7 minutes. Why didn't he survive during that time is my question right there. Now guys, keep in mind, I am not saying the action for why the individual ended up in the hospital is justified. No, that action is wrong. Nobody should be hurting nobody at all. Okay? Unless you self-defense or some kind of thing like that, which of course was claimed there. But that is a whole other story right there. But guys, when it comes down to the hospital itself, man, I have friends who have passed away, who are supposed to be alive today. I have friends who are supposed to be alive today, guys, who went into the hospital and did not come out alive. Now they're talking about this particular individual right there, for which this individual had what do you call it again? He had a squabble. He had a squabble with the individual, ended up in him, you know, doing some wounds to him, and he ended up in the hospital for 2 hours and 7 minutes. So during that time, couldn't he have survived that very thing right there? Considering he had other complications, but couldn't he have survived if they had stopped the bleeding? Most likely it was this reason why he ended up bleeding out. Couldn't they have stopped this? Get some tourniquets or what do you call them, tourniquets? Whatever, they can just wrap. Tie that to your hands, stop it from bleeding, and address this situation right there. Now guys, I always tend to put some blame on a plethora of things. One on the individual that caused the incident, yes. Another one on the hospital, yes. And 2 on the lack of resources in the hospital to prevent these things. So that is my main issue here. Yeah, the incident happened and everything, but the main issue here is the guy was in the hospital for 2 hours and 7 minutes. And you mean to tell me that during that time they could do nothing for that individual? Remember, there's a cause to an effect. Yes, but he was in the hospital alive for 2 hours and 7 minutes. That, my friends, anyways.
So what does that say to you? How many people you all know that has been amputated and still living.
Guys, I remember a particular incident that took place last year of a friend of mine's, I think it's her grandfather or granduncle or grand something to her. And he had some incidents, and if they did not come down to rescue their grandfather or their family member to send him overseas, bring him overseas, that individual would end up losing their whole foot. They started taking off the guy's toes, man. They started taking, this is the problem that I have with the hospital. Yes, guys, we know that not everything is there, right? We know not everything is there. But the question he asks is, how many people survive after being amputated? What is lacking in our medical field that will cause us to not survive, especially considering certain situations that does not result in any removal of any body parts whatsoever? If my friends them did not come down to organize their family member, remove him from the hospital, they had to tell them stop. Stop. They were sending, boy, tell you boy, they had to tell him stop, to remove him and send him to a different country, for which he gradually come back. He got better and better and better, and no more body parts of his were being taken off. What is wrong with our medical facility? And yes, you might say this is not back in the day, you know. This was last year I talking about, you know. Last year I talking about, man. Last year coming up to this year, I'm talking about, guys. So can you imagine the kind of neglect that has been taking place in the hospital? And like I said, guys, I blame it on three things. The last one being the resources that we need to handle these things. Who then do we blame for not having the resources? Our nurses properly trained to handle these kind of things, or people trained in the hospital to handle these things? Sometimes we bring in Cuban doctors and all this kind of thing. That's a good thing, right? But sometimes they don't even understand what the person is saying and could possibly prescribe different medications and stuff. Not only that though, guys, I have certain family members who have been to the hospital as well. And guys, you might be saying, not blows I going for, it's not blows I trying to give the hospital. I'm just trying to say, hey guys, we need to do better than that. If you understand my drift, we need to do better than what we have done back then. A guy just lost his life going to do a hand surgery. Maybe they pretty much tapped into brachial, causing the individual to bleed out. That's one of the things that I heard that was being stated. And then we're hearing about this particular incident down there. The brachial artery connects all the way and goes straight to the heart. This is why you have a pulse in your hand. So, with that said, guys, isn't it possible that some kind of thing needs to be done? In this guy's case, most likely the guy would have been alive today. Well, we don't know because of all the complications. Sorry, because of all the complications that he had. We're not sure, but the brachial artery, right there, man. Anyways.
You don't need a rocket scientist to tell you it's negligence. Then they needed a witness to find me guilty. Hence the reason they paid my own family by the name of to come and lie saying he was on the crime scene. Ask him what color clothes.
I had to mute the name, guys. I don't want to get nobody in trouble. I just had to mute the name.
Was wearing. He said a blue and white button-up shirt with a blue jeans pants. When I had on a blue, gray, and yellow mixed color t-shirt with a green jeans pant. Then they found me guilty and gave me 25 years imprisonment. But my ancestors never neglected me. Appealed twice and the sentence was broken down twice. So to those that might think that it's not real, wake up. When I saw Mystelics address the matter I said I have to make a video explaining my situation I experienced. Some might have so much to say about the murderer, but when it will reach under your bed, is then we go in and see how my shoes was fitting me. Don't wait for it to be too late. My people, negligence in Dominica is real.
I 150% agree with the negligence part. Now guys, keep in mind, I am not saying his action is justified. He stated that the guy was troubling him and he resulted. You never know what might be going up in people's head at that particular time. That's why my pops always say, don't trouble people. Don't trouble people, especially people you don't know. Do not trouble them. But as a result, when he came to the hospital, 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 7 minutes actually, stayed into the hospital. Now the judicial system. Oh, whoa. Guys, especially what is taking place right now, where they are bringing people to court for incitement and all those kind of things there, having cases going on and on and on and on. Look right now, they even Joshua Francis, I heard, his case has been dismissed because of nothing was being done. The person who made the case against him, or nothing has been done, so they pretty much dismissed that case right there. Anyways, guys, not just that about incitement, but actual people where the evidence has been presented. And I know, guys, I know this, not for myself, but I know this directly, if you understand, where the evidence is presented. And the very jurors in the very mix of the judicial system are very confused as to what they should do because of all the evidence, because they're trying somehow and not just that, guys, sometimes the very people that we're hoping will be good or honest and everything in the judicial system, especially in the hospitals and other areas, they will end up lying to try to cover some sort of, I don't know what, but some sort of agenda right there. There was a judge I knew back then. He's no longer judge. It seems like he's going crazy up there. He's no longer in the field right there. He was one of the individuals that decided, even if he did not hear your case, even if you were found innocent, some way, somehow, that guy, and that's in Dominica we're talking about, not nowhere else, that guy would try his best to send you to prison, regardless of what the jurors and the people who are listening had to say. I mean, I remember one particular case where all the evidence, every single evidence, was pointing to the innocence of an individual. An innocent person, mark you, was sent to prison. Even if the evidence themselves, all the evidence, and there was a second one again, because they couldn't conclude the first one, they had a second one again on that. And they decided to leave out some of the weaknesses and all this kind of things and try to manipulate different information for which the jurors themselves could not come to a conclusion because the very judge was putting pressure on them to consider that individual guilty. Now you might say this guy caused the very thing right there. Yes. But when it comes down to the judicial system and when it comes down to the medical system, something is wrong, guys. Something is very, very wrong in this system right there. And not just in Dominica, guys. All over the place, they have been finding all kind of lawyers and judges and all those kind of things. Remember all that, what is taking place with Black Lives Matter? And all those kind of movements when they finding judges and all those people there having sent how much black people to jail for monies and all those kind of things. You see how this system is, guys. And if that is happening up there, what about down here now? I know this, guys. I know this for a fact, and I just use this individual as a way for me to totally explain what exactly I'm talking about right there and then. Yes, his story is an interesting one, but we're talking about the medical field and the judicial system, where we expect these things to provide true justice, true justice. This guy's sentence was reviewed, and he got every time he was appealed, he got a lesser and lesser sentence. And I think as a result of what took place with him actually doing that to the individual, it was and of course they reduced the sentence and everything, and now he's out, and so forth and so forth. But guys, the judicial system, man, I can't even talk. The judicial system that is supposed to provide justice for the innocent, and the medical system that is supposed to end up, helping individuals, what guys, what are your thoughts, man? I just decided to put this out there, for you guys, to a thought-provoking kind of vibe. If an individual actually lived through that very system and seen what was happening as a result of negligence in the hospital that caused him to then be, in this predicament right there, and then the judicial system, I can't say that word, the judicial system that also failed the system as well. What are your thoughts, man? Leave that, of course, in the comment box below. Let's see what else he has to say.
This is no gimmick. There is past cases with all this guy by the name of, I believe, he faced negligence also, where he had to face, I believe, 7 to 9 years imprisonment.
Of course, there are people who are innocent there are a few people that are definitely innocent in prison right now.
Yes. All these things has been going on and is still going on. So, if I am a young man at the age of 31 and I say that I want to have children here in Dominica, what atmosphere that I want for my child or my children? I don't want that kind of atmosphere. I'd rather take them and bring them in the bush and live. To keep away from that system. Because they don't love people. These people go on like beasts, like devils, and this is what they are. Love and light to all. Hotep. Blessed.
Guys, what are your thoughts on what he had to say right there? Let me know that in the comment box below as well. And this, of course, is your boy Mystelics. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe and turn on the post notifications for more what is wrong with me? For more vibrations like this one, man. Please and thank you as well, guys. Be real, be positive. I'll see you in the next one.